Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Fiduciary Wealth webinar. Today, this webinar is aimed at UK expats, either living in Gibraltar or those planning on relocating to Gibraltar in the near future. And we're going to be talking about the QROPS and why you should consider using a QROPS as part of your financial planning. So just a quick introduction, Fiduciary Wealth Management. My name is Matt Penfold. We are here based in Gibraltar, serving the expat community, regulated in Gibraltar, of course, and also UK authorized. So we can give you that UK advice experience with local knowledge about your tax and investments and pensions here in Gibraltar. So we're talking about the QNUPs today. So we'll start with, what is a QNUPs? So this is a qualifying non-UK pension scheme. And as the name suggests, it's very clear it is a pension, but not quite as we know it. So in the UK, we're used to a pension where we make contributions throughout our working life. Our employer tends to contribute as well. We get tax relief and we build up that pension as we go through our working life. Now, if you are relocating to Gibraltar, you do live in Gibraltar, then you can transfer your UK pension to a Gibraltar QROPS. There's a lot of very good reasons to do that. So if you do have UK pensions, it makes sense to transfer them. So reach out to me or one of my colleagues and we can discuss that with you. But today we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the QNUPs. And a QNUPs is funded in a different way. It's funded from a lump sum investment. So you may have some cash from the sale of UK property, your business, your investment portfolio in the UK, maybe something similar to that, and you're looking for a home for that. Now, as you may know, Gibraltar has a very generous tax environment, and one of the key benefits is there's no capital gains tax in Gibraltar, which is great news. So if you were to be living in the UK, Spain, Portugal, quite often you want to use a tax wrapper, an ISA, Spanish compliant bond, Portuguese bond, to help protect against the capital gains. In Gibraltar, that's not required because there is no capital gains. So that bodes a question, why a QNUPS? Why would you want to use a QNUPS when there is no capital gains? And here I am today to explain that to you. And there's one key reason for that. And I'll explain this, and it centers around UK inheritance tax. So the good news for those living in Gibraltar is there is no local inheritance tax. That is the good news. The bad news is that you are likely still to retain your UK inheritance tax exposure. Now, there is a bit of a kind of common misconception that we relocate from the UK, we move to another country, we become a tax resident in another country, Gibraltar in this instance, and therefore we're no longer liable for UK inheritance tax. That's not the case. In the UK, inheritance tax is based on your domicile, not your tax residency, your domicile. Our domicile, we acquire this at birth, and it's very difficult to shed our domicile. To do so, you have to be out of the UK for a long period of time. You have to establish a permanent home in one particular place. And you also have to kind of cut all your ties with the UK. And that's all the minor ties as well. And there's some very famous cases over the years where individuals have moved away from the UK. They thought they'd cut all their ties with the UK. They hadn't severed all links with the UK. And then on their death, HMRC have come in and to make a claim to your estate. So domicile and the concept of your domicile is it's a difficult concept to establish. There is no test to say definitively that you have lost your UK domicile. HMRC would never confirm to someone that was the case. So what we always say is plan for the worst, and then you can protect your estate, protect the inheritance that you want to pass on to your next of kin. So this is where QNUPS comes in, because in the UK, pensions are outside of your estate for UK inheritance tax. So you establish a pension, a QROPS in Gibraltar, and the assets within that are immediately outside of your estate for UK inheritance tax, even if you return to the UK at a later date. So it's a very powerful planning tool. Now, there are caveats with that. The QROPS has to be set up as a genuine retirement scheme. Now, what we mean by that is the funding of the QROPS, the amount that you invest in the QROPS has to be in line with your age, your overall wealth, and your income requirements. So to give a practical example, we might have an individual here in Gibraltar, age 75, they've got net wealth of £4 million. And they come to us and say, yeah, I acknowledge I've got a UK inheritance tax problem. This QROPS sounds incredible. Let me put, 3.7, 3.8 million inside the QROPS. There we go. Job done. No inheritance tax to worry about. In that instance, that wouldn't work. That's clearly an inheritance tax fudge, and HMRC would see straight through that. But for an individual who's maybe a little bit younger, and maybe they invest a smaller proportion of their overall wealth, then a QROPS can work perfectly. And you just need to make sure that that funding is correct. And that's why it's very important to align yourself with advisors such as ourselves, of course, who understand the nuances of the QROPS, can guide you through that process and make sure that it is a genuine retirement scheme that we were setting up. Now, other minor features of QROPS is it operates very much like a pension. So you have 25% of the income tax-free. That can be up to 30% in some instances. And pension income is taxed very generously in Gibraltar. You only pay 2.5% on income withdrawal. So you have your tax-free element of it. Beyond that, you pay 2.5% on the income withdrawal. So you have this amazing protection from UK inheritance tax at 40%. No capital gains inside the pension if you were to move outside of Gibraltar. And then if you're living in Gibraltar, just 2.5% on the income. We as advisors would establish a QROPS with you with a local provider. We would make sure that the assets in there are in line with your risk appetite, your risk profile, and concentrate on investing that to make sure that the QROPS grows in value for you, which is, of course, another added benefit of working with advisors as ourselves. You want to grow that pension pot, so you've got even more to pass on to your next of kin in a very tax efficient way. So that's really the end of today's webinar. I wanted to keep it rather brief. Of course, with all financial products, there is no one size fits all. A QROPS might be perfect for you. It might not. There may be other options you want to consider. We would never deal with someone and they come to us and say, set me up a QROPS now and just do that. We would want to assess your whole financial situation, see what other ways we can help you and understand your issues, your goals, and the solutions you're looking for, and then provide those solutions for you. So if you are a UK expat living in Gibraltar, or you are planning on moving to Gibraltar in the near future and you want to discuss this with us, I'll be putting our contact details on the screen in a couple of minutes. So feel free to reach out either via email or telephone, and we'd be more than happy to have a chat with you to discuss that. So let me share my screen there. And there are our contact details. So Fiduciary Wealth Management, we're based here in the heart of Gibraltar on Bell Lane. Our email address there, fiduciarywealth.gi. If you want to do your own research into us, please do. We've got our Trustpilot account, Fiduciary Wealth on Trustpilot with independent reviews. You can always find our video testimonials on our website or on our YouTube channel. Again, Fiduciary Wealth on YouTube. And then when you're ready to speak to us, please reach out on inquiries, that's inquiries with an E, at fwm.gi, or give us a call on 00350 200 50982. My email should be on this webinar as well. That's matt.penfold@fwm.gi. feel free to reach out to me personally, and I look forward to talking to you. So I wish you all a lovely day, and I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. And for those who hold an interest, I look forward to speaking to you soon. Okay, goodbye.